All right. Hello, it's Kamilah Rose from the Bliss Institute and back with another Infinity Train review, spoilers, analysis, theories, and then a little bit of that Attack on Titan at the end now that we've gotten the full leak of 120 of chapter 120. So this episode 4 of Infinity Train, and it starts with the crystal car. So we have Tulip kind of living it up. Like, she looks really chill. She's on her little moped. She's in classic Italy, like straight up Italy is what we find that this place is called. And she's been helping others out. It seems like she's in a more relaxed state. She's just chilling now. She helped out a woman named Nancy who has a rose for her head. Cool, whatever. To get her restaurant going, to work on her pasta, to defeat the lady at the well with the coins. She's just, helping folks out. Her number hasn't changed though, so she's still frustrated by that, but like not to the point where she's stopping moving forward and throwing a tantrum, but more just like, okay, what's going on here? What do I need to do to figure out this mystery of what's going on with the number, and how do I get off this train? And like, what is the purpose of all these different cars and what she's doing in this world? So she has created, she's very scientific, she's very methodical, methodological, there we go. So she uses a lot of systems, diagrams. She has made a Venn diagram of the different cars and how they possibly overlap. The main one we see is the grid car and the crosswords car. And so she has a list of all the different cars she's been through. So we have the grid car, monkey boys, friendly eyeballs, pinball, mannequin, water, keyboard, hold music, and I'm thinking like the music you hear in the elevator, which I thought was cute. Flying fish, cross-eyed ducks, monster mash, corgi, kombucha, which I'm like, I wanted to see the kombucha train car. Like, that seems hilarious. Bats instead of bees cars, and that one had like an arrow maybe pointing to somewhere else. I'm not sure how that like came into that. And then now she's at the straight up Italy car. And so she's trying to figure out like what ties all of this together. And she's noticed that there's two things that were similar to in the straight up Italy car and the Corgi car is that she helped someone and that they helped someone and that they had to like right or wrong with something and fought someone. But that has still brought no change to her number. She created a logic tree to track the system of patterns. Like I said, she's very systematic. She wants to be able to observe and to categorize and to track kind of what's been going on with her. And so she's like, I can track this system using a scientific method, and it's kind of stressing her. It's stressing out one-to-one. And Atticus is like, okay, you got to chill out on this whole tracking. She's got her little spiral her little notepad that she's taking all her notes in, and she's doing like all the like categorizing and trying to see like what ties to what. It reminds me of the meme of the dude from I think it's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where he has like all the strings attached to things and he's looking crazy and he's like, see, it's tied together. She's like trying to figure that out, but it's making her a little on edge and putting everyone else on edge too, because she's just so focused on this topic. And so I think the next one that they're in is Crystal Car. And I think Crystal Car is the best because I'm obsessed with crystals. I'm a little witchy. So I'm like, yes, like I would just want to stay in Crystal Car world and just like hang out there because it's really cool. So Atticus is also quite bright. And he often has suggestions that are very wise, they're very reasonable, but they're still like balanced out in that they're not quite so serious as Tulip can tend to be. And so he's like, well, what I've experienced and I think he's highlighting the wisdom that comes from experience, because he uses a lot of examples of things that he's already been through and how that worked out to apply to like, well, maybe we can use this now to see if like the same thing that worked previously for me will work in this circumstance. And so he's like, well, due to my height, I've noticed that often the things that I need are above me. So maybe we just need to look up. And they look up and they find the door. And so that was like, okay, well, how do we get to the door? And Tulip's like, well, let's build a ladder. Easiest way, quick and simple. Let's get it done. Let's get it in. And so then we have a gray kind of crystal man that comes up, and he is like, okay, here's how you are able to get stairs and get up to this door. And he's using hand gestures to be able to tell the story. So it's nonverbal. And so they're like, okay, like it's another kind of mystery or a puzzle to put together. And that the steps, he tells the story of what happened to the steps. And he's like, the steps that led to the door were stolen by a giant spider made of metal, which is like, okay, so this is obviously the spider / cable person that they saw in the Corgi land, and that this has gotten to the crystal car and it took the stairs so that they wouldn't be able to follow it and get to the next car. So it is intentionally impeding upon their ability to be able to follow behind it. So like there is a reason why this spider woman person does not want them to catch up with it. And I know it has to do something with 111 because that was when the spider person like ran off. And so 111 says, oh, my friend, like this was my friend. So and Tulip's like, no, this is not your friend. And they're like, well, maybe it's my mom. And Tulip's like, this thing tried to hurt us. And it's like, the question still stands, is this spider person my mom? And I'm like, I don't know, because we saw that when Tulip opened the door in the Corgi land, that this knocked open the lid to the spider person, and that there was a space there where it seemed like maybe a ball like 1-1 could fit. So I don't know. So new stairs can emerge by putting their hands on a crystal. It's kind of like a crystal kind of step thing, or more like a rock, just a crystal. And they have to sing a song that has an emotional or is important to them. It has an emotional tie to them. It makes them feel strongly. And so Atticus is immediate, like, oh my gosh, there is a song for my people, a ballad from the days on old, and I'm going to sing it. And so he starts howling. He puts his like paws on the crystal and starts howling. And the crystal is like, no, like rejected. And so then the crystal man is like, sorry, it doesn't recognize howling. And Atticus is offended. He's like, excuse me, howling is like the ancient language of my people. I was like, this is so cute. Like the parallels and the ways that they use like dog characteristics. It just makes it fun and it's cute. And so then we have 1-1. It's like, okay, well, it's my turn. I'll go next. And it's like, I know the song, the one that's singing it. So 1-1 puts his little hand, I guess, on there and starts doing the old internet dial-up. And so then there's no connection, like disconnection. I was like, this is just the cutest. It's just the cutest show. This episode was really fun, and this episode was really lighthearted. And I was like, I really like this, even though it still had, in my opinion, a deep message to it. And since Tulip's like, okay, I got this, no worries. There's tons of songs on Earth. I know a lot of songs that are emotional. And she just starts singing, and it's awful. Like, oh, I'm like, girl, stick to the computer programming and the game programming, because music is not your thing. But nothing happens. So she's singing. So she just starts singing all the different songs that are supposed to be emotional from all the different genres. And there's just nothing going on. And then so Atticus is like, well, why don't you sleep on it? And Tulip returns to her idea. She's like, forget it. I'm just going to build a ladder. I'm going to get up there. And Crystal Guy is like, that's not going to work. And she's like, no, this isn't working. We just need to go the logical route. So she's like, y'all gonna help me? And they're like, we don't have thumbs. And so she has to build it on her own. And she like grabs crystal, what do you call those things? Vines. And she starts making a ladder out of them. And so Atticus is like, this is the perfect time for me to tell you the story, the ballad of, what is his name? Mustard and Stinktail. So he's telling this long story about these like historical corgis and how they relate to his people. And it's a long story. And then we see like Tulips struggling in the background to build this ladder, but she gets it done. And so the ladder does work. It gets her up to the door, but then we find that the door is locked. And that's why Crystal Guy was like, no, I told you, like, you have to do it this way for it to work. And again, like, we're going back to the whole, like, even though your way might make sense or it's faster or might seem more effective, like, for someone who's so concerned about the rules and just wants to know how things work, you don't actually seem to listen or want to follow rules when people tell you, like, this is how this works to get this done. So now we see that Tulip is like, okay, well, I have to find something that makes a emotional connection. And Crystal Guy is like, you need something that you sung like stereotypical emotional songs, but it has to be something that comes from your heart. It has to be something that is significant for you. And she's like, well, okay, like I have to figure out what that means. And Crystal Man places her hand on her heart and on her head, and it's like it has to be something that's like in a balance of both. Like it will come to you intentionally, like it'll come to you immediately, because that's what happened with Atticus, is that when he was like, okay, you need an emotional song, Atticus was immediately like, okay, the ballad of Mustard and Stinktail. Like everyone knew exactly what like brought up an emotional connection to them, which I'm like, okay, clearly we're seeing that Tulip has some issues being vulnerable and connected to her emotions, but she gets there. And I think the route that they use to get her there is something that is really enjoyable because it is lighthearted. It's not like doing emotional work has to be all deep and heavy and like crying and sobbing in a corner or anything. Like there's other ways to connect to your feelings. And so Tulip sits down and she's like, all right, what am I emotionally connected to? And she's like, well, I like programming. I like my friends. I like onions, the first 3 bites of pancakes, new textbooks before I get over school, at the beginning of the year. And then she goes, road trips. And when she says road trips, you can see the light bulb goes off, the crystal starts to glow, and she's like, no, like you can see the embarrassment in her eyes at like whatever song it is that we haven't found out yet. It is that it comes to her mind that she's emotionally attached to, that is from a memory of road trips. And so the music starts playing in the background, and immediately like you recognize the song. It's Word Up. And she, like, the music is playing and they're like, you're just gonna have to do it. She looks so embarrassed, but it's so cute. And again, like she's like all huddled up and singing it. But it's so fun, and it is a fun song. Like you can't, it honestly, especially in the context, like you can't not like get into it and want to sing the song and like have fun with it. And one makes a comment that's like, your heart is really fun. And I was like, that's so awesome. Cause like, it seems that she forgets that, yeah, things are frustrating. Yeah, I want to be super logical, but that she can have fun and she can still enjoy herself, and that she's a kid and she can be lighthearted. And that although what brought her to the circumstance was a really like heavy issue with her parents, that it reminds her of the good memories and how much she loves her parents and how much she has fun with her family and with her friends and all of that. And I'm like, I just love, I don't know, I like the way that they are conveying this message. It's just super fun. And it comes across in a way that you can still connect to regardless of like where you are or what's going on with you. And so she's singing the song, and then like a bigger gray crystal person comes out, and he has the stairs and he places them down, and then he has the key, and so he opens the door, and then she can get through. They can get through. And Tulip looks down at her hand, and now her number has finally changed, and it's 89. So I'm still not sure like what's going on with the numbers. It does seem like as she makes progress in how she relates to work and being and lightening up and having fun and connecting to her emotions and understanding the importance of family and friendship and teamwork and honesty and integrity, that the numbers do decrease, but I don't know what the numbers. I still don't know what the numbers stand for. Like, I don't know if the numbers are like the car numbers or if there are levels in a game, because I still am like 100% sure she's in some form of a game or a simulation or something, but I don't know if it's a game that she's playing or a game that she wants to design, or if it's a game that's like in her head because she's passed out because she decided to walk her butt to this programming camp that's 300 miles away in the snow. I'm not sure like how that's coming into play, and hopefully we'll see some more of that tonight, and we'll learn some more about the spider lady and kind of what's going on with her, or like just see some more of these connections. I do suspect that as we're getting to the middle of this series, that we'll have something significant happen in the next couple of episodes, in the next like 2 episodes, because we're right in the middle. We, of course, will more than likely not hit the climax of the story, but we might hit like the first kind of crescendo and maybe get something that seems very important and like a super big deal. Like, she's gone through a lot, but it hasn't been anything like it's been things that have been able to be solved in this 15-minute span. So we'll see what we find in tonight. But that is it for, oh no, I had a thought, because being in this crystal place and how her connecting to these thoughts and her emotions brought her back to this positive memory made me think of Sailor Moon. I love Sailor Moon. And I was like, it reminded me of the Dark Moon arc where Rini was turned into Dark Lady, and to get her, because they have fed her a bunch of like false memories of like being abandoned and all these other things. And then with Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Mask, or whatever he was in that time, I think he was like King Endymion. I don't know. They were trying to get her to remember the good times and like what had actually happened and what her childhood was actually like, where she was really cared for by her parents, by the Sailor soldiers, by like everyone, by Luna and Artemis. Like, everyone really cared for her and was looking out for her. And so in getting her to remember those positive things, they were able to overcome the negativity that was like flooding her mind. And it made me think of, as Tulip keeps having these circumstances that remind her that her family is really important to her, and that her family makes her feel loved and to have fun, and she has all these really good experiences with them, and that although there are things that happen that make her frustrated or are not fair, that like the long-term feelings and the relationship that she has with her family is more important than these smaller circumstantial things. And I think that that's like a really nice message. So now let's chat about Attack on Titan. So Attack on Titan, the leaks to chapter 120 are out. I have read through it. I have all the questions. I'm watching different videos about theories and explanation of what's going on, because I kept up with the manga for a little while, and then like I jumped off of it, and then of course I've watched the television or the cartoon, but that ended season 3, and it ended with them on the beach and making it to the ocean, which I was like, oh, how nice, before everything like falls apart. But I haven't kept up with so much of what's going on, except for maybe like 2 months ago when I ran across that they were winding down on Attack on Titan, the manga. And so we were going to get to the end of the story and find out what really is going on. So that's when I was like, oh, I got to get back into it, because I want to know what's coming up. Like, I want to know what is in game. I want to know what Erens' plan is. I want to know what ends up happening to all these people. So in 120, when we find in 119, so spoilers, of course, but in 119, we saw that Eren got his head blown off. And so there were now I still am like, this is morbid and it's not all that great to say, but I kind of still don't want Eren to come back. I feel like that's very cliche, and I know that there's a lot of work that can still be done with that, but I feel like depending on what Erin's plan is, like, and especially with hearing some of the arguments that I've heard about the importance of Armin, that I'm like, there's something that has to happen there. And I don't know how significant that'll be with Eren coming back, because the show depends, and the story depends so much on him, and he carries so much of it. And like, how will that play out? Not to say that he couldn't come back, but I'm like, I think that it would be, personally for me, a more interesting story to see how Eren, like if Eren takes kind of Ymir's role and becomes this kind of figure in the background who is controlling things and influencing things, and is connected to all of the Titans in a non-physical way, but in this non-corporeal, is the only way I can think of to say it, way, like this psychological, spiritual, energetic connection that they all have through the past system. And so, while his head, because like the head can stay alive for like a certain amount of time, because the blood is all still flowing and everything, while being detached from the body, Zeke is able to grab the head while Eren's still alive. This activates the founder Titan. They go into like that kind of like a Titan world, I guess, where apparently Titans are formed by Ymir before, and like that translates into like their actual Titan bodies when they're back in the real world, and that the founder Titan, and perhaps I guess the Titans, the humans who carry the Titans when they die, go there. And so we have Zeke, who's like, oh, okay, and he's going through his whole. I really encourage you to watch or to read it, because I don't really want to give a review of it because I haven't taken notes of it or anything. But I'm wondering. So my thoughts are: is this real? Is this really happening? Is this something that's made up? Like this whole what's going on with Ymir, and Ymir kind of being more of a prisoner, and then like Eren being a prisoner because of how much he's taking on that's similar to Ymir, and he's really just like playing into whatever plan that Zeke and his people have in place, and those who carry the bloodline. And like is that what's actually going on with it, or is something else happening with Ymir? Like, is Ymir, is there something else that's happening there? Because it was like Ymir looked so sad. She seemed sad. She didn't seem like the figure of Ymir that was told in the mythology through the different groups. But then it's like, well, was that just a story that they told to further their cause and was not a true reflection of Ymir? And I am still like, I love the story as is now, but like, I want to know Ymir's story. I want to know what happened, how she got the Titan shifter powers, if it was even her on her own, or if she was like some experiment or victim of the moves from the people around her to be able to access this. Like, I want to know what ended up happening, especially with now, they've come to this point where they could isolate the and use through the blood, I guess it was, or the whatever it is that activates the Titan shifter abilities in the Eldian people. Like, was there some type of experiments going on, and like how did this actually happen? I want to know what actually happened to start the Titans, that ties Ymir to it, that ties in the royal family, like, and the Eldian people. I want to know how like all of this actually came to be, like what actually happened in the Titan Wars. I want to see that story, and I hope that we really get it. I think we will, or at least get significant portions of it. And then I want to see like, what is Eren's game plan, because I do think that he's more aware of what's going on, and I think it's because of how many Titans he has, that he has access to a lot of memories, and it's more memories and future memories. I don't know what you would call those. I guess like what's to come from this. I think he has more access than others have. So even though Zeke is of royal blood and can activate the coordinate and do other things, like Eren just has more resources available to him to navigate and to manipulate in this game. And I do feel like now it's kind of like a game, and it's like who's moving what chess piece. And I've seen a lot where people are like what is it, like the something with the Uno card, like the ultimate Uno, like reverse or whatever. And I'm like, y'all are silly. But because I think Zeke thought that what was going to happen is that he was going to convince Eren that their father, Grisha, had manipulated Zeke. He manipulated Eren. He was just selfish and didn't care about them and was just like here for his cause. And then like what he's finding out, whether these are real memories or not, because I'm still not 100% on board with that. But what he's finding out is that, and I think that this has been noted as a theme in Attack on Titan, that like Grisha was not all good or all evil, and that he did care about his family. He did care about what happened to Zeke. He did have remorse, that he was trying to do better, that he wasn't just a slave to the ideology of the people that he aligned with, and that this story is always more complicated than just black and white, right and wrong. And now Zeke's having like these second thoughts and that craziness that happened, which is why I'm like still like, okay, are they in memories? Is it the connection because Grisha has Titan abilities that he could sense that they were there when they were going through these memories? Like, because Grisha is like, Zeke, I'm so sorry. And then he's like, no, I'm like, I must be like dreaming. Like, there's no way Zeke could be that old man with his beard. And Zeke's like thrown off, and Eren's like, but what got to me is that Eren was looking like, gotcha, bitch. Like, he was like, haha, like, let's go through these memories. You wanted to go through these memories. You thought you were going to show me something, but like now you're about to learn like what I know, because I inherited this from our father, and I have a connection to him that is different because of his being with the Eldian people on Paradise Island at this time, but also because I inherited all of his memories and all of the things that he's seen and all the lessons that he's seen and learned will come from having his Titan. And he's like, and now I'm going to show you like what actually happened, and I'm going to show you what we could do to fix this. I do think that Eren has a plan. He has an idea of how to end the Titan curse. I still don't know what it's gonna be. Like, I don't know if it's gonna be he's just gonna take everything in, and then like I've seen people theorize that he'll switch places with Ymir, and like he just won't form Titans anymore, and that'll end it. And I guess that could be the case, but maybe like I've seen also other people suggest that he will take, look at this cat, that he will oh, Lovey, he's so crazy, that he will bring Ymir out of this place that he's in. But I'm like, I don't know if he'll do that, but maybe, or maybe Ymir will be reborn. Maybe that's the baby at the end. And so Ymir is being, oh, that would make sense. Because like the final panel is like, you're free now. So maybe Ymir is being reborn and is being given the chance to live a life that's not where she can be free and doesn't have to be tied to the Titans or to the royal family. I mean, but the suspect is that it's, what is her name? Historia's daughter, so she would still have royal blood, but she wouldn't be subject to the Titan curse and the Titan abilities. So I wonder if that's going to be who's actually reborn, and I wonder if he finds a way to release her from being there in that space and with the founder. But then, like, how would he do that unless he trades places with her? And like, how does this ensure that this doesn't repeat itself again? I'm not sure. I don't know. But again, I will say I don't think that that Eren and Mikasa are in game, but we'll see. Who knows? I also don't think that he's the father of Historia's baby. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I think maybe it's not the farmer dude, that random farmer dude that they're saying it is. That it could. There's the possibilities that it could be a lot of different people, but maybe it is. Maybe he like ran off and was like, "Hey, girl, you and me, we got something here." I don't know, but it would be cool if the baby at the end is Ymir reborn, and like getting to live a life without being held to creating and managing and developing these titans. Like, I think that would be super neat. So anyways, those are kind of like my random thoughts about Attack on Titan, and it's been 30 minutes, so I'm gonna head out and have dinner. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think of Infinity Train. Let me know what you think of Attack on Titan and what you think might be coming next, or if you have any like connections that you've made about what we've seen in this chapter 120, and you know what we know of is kind of happening at the end. And I'm thinking about that clip. I think I want to go listen to that. They have the sound clip, and there are a lot of people who are saying it kind of sounds like a train. There were a lot of people saying that it sounds like maybe like some type of battle or something like that. But I'm like, I wonder if it's like, I wonder if it's something about like chains. Maybe it's the chains, the rattle of the chains, or like, I don't know. I want to go listen to it again. Anyways, I'm out. I'm out. Good night. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to each other. Like, comment, subscribe. There'll be more stuff to come. And I'll see you later. Have a good night.